Do you love waking up early in the morning, struggling to figure out what to do with your hair? We've all had our share of bad hair days. Are you ready for a change? Lock it and love it with Lock and Love Salon, conveniently located at 8117 Liberty Road, Windsor Mills, Maryland. Start your lock journey today. Lock and Love's professional services and artistic designs will keep you blazing in the hottest trends while maintaining and protecting your hair. Honey, Lock and Love is an experience. Once you try Lock and Love Salon, you won't try anyone else. Lock and Love offers starter and maintenance locks, fox locks, detox, shampooing and conditioning, lock treatment, lock extension, coloring, and much more. Sorry, but Lock and Love doesn't accept walk-ins. What are you waiting for? Call 410-970-3791 to set up your appointment today. Lock and Love is on Facebook, so remember to like, follow, and share.
Hey, it is your girl Pus'Her. If you're not pushing forward, you are moving backwards. Say it out loud. Forward ever, backwards never. No, really, say that thing out loud. I'm telling you, it will bless your whole heart. As always, I thank you all for showing up on this rainy Wednesday at 6:30. I appreciate you all. You could be snuggled up in your bed. You could be doing anything, but you have chosen to push forward with us this evening, and we are so grateful. I just have a few updates to give or information to share before we get into tonight's conversation. So, if you are looking for something to do this Saturday, March the 8th, I am going to ask you, and you are looking for a time to laugh and just have a good time and just celebrate someone. If you're looking for a reason to be empowered, to be uplifted, to celebrate someone and be in the environment where we are just celebrating, we are just happy. I want you to inbox me. There will be a birthday bash that will have comedy, so much. Inbox me. We are celebrating none other than our visionary and leader of the Ladies League of Baltimore, Lady Michelle. We will be celebrating her. So I am going to ask. Tickets are on sale, only $25. So inbox me for the details. I will send you the flyer myself. So you know how to get in touch with me on Facebook, Pushing Forward. I'm asking that you take a part of this. We are going to have a good old time. Remember, we talking about celebrating one another, and it is an honor to celebrate our leader, our visionary, Lady Michelle of the Ladies League of Baltimore. And so we have other things coming up on March the 15th. I will be receiving a Phenomenal Woman's Award. I will be in Philly accepting that award on behalf of my village, indeed, because I understand that I cannot push forward if I did not have an army pushing me forward. And so I am so grateful. And then we will be traveling over to DC for an author's ball where recognition will be made and awards will be given up. I'm just excited to be given the opportunity to dress up, girl, and put my little clothes on and be cute and have pictures taken, questions asked. I'm just so excited and nervous at the same time, but I'm grateful. And we have some other things coming up. If you know any woman who has been impacted by the criminal justice system, holler at your girl. Pivot Workforce Development. We will interview, get them to fill out an application on pivotprogram.org and send them my way so that they can get the resources and the assistance that they need as they adjust in their reentry process. I am Forgive me. I am. Hey, Lady Michelle. Hey, Lakeisha. Hey, Aunt Ada. Hey, what that say?
Brandon.
They
That's
don't
my
say.
friend Brandon. Hey, Brandon.
Hey, Brandon. Bless your heart. Yes, come out and enjoy yourself. Yes, yes, yes. And as you always know, I see you, be over. If Brittany, if you did not purchase your copy of It Takes One to Know One, I am asking you to tap in, go to pushyourlife.org and get your copy today. So let us get started. I got all of that out of the way. So you asked for this young lady to come back, and we are having her here on tonight. Tonight's conversation is about here is forgiveness, reconciliation. That is what tonight's topic is about. Is forgiveness, reconciliation. So I am just grateful that you all wanted this young lady back to continue her thought, to share what it is that she has to offer. And so I am just going to ask you all, as you always do, to tap in with your questions. We're going to answer them as truthful and as honest as we possibly can. And so let's just get started. Oh, where did she go? She disappeared.
I'm
All
still here. Can
right.
you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you, but I cannot see you. And okay. So I want you to reintroduce yourself to the people. Remind them who you are and what you bring to the Pusher community.
So, hello again, everybody. My name is Sade Smith. I am a life coach. I'm passionate about empowering women and just helping them be the best version of themselves and find themselves. I work at Pivot, so Pivot Baltimore, as Carlita mentioned, where we help women who have been impacted by the criminal justice system, not only in the workforce, but to work on themselves and really find who they are so that they could be the best version of themselves in the workforce and in the world. So yeah, and outside of that, I also do coaching as well, personally. So hello
Yes,
again.
that's why you are the personal success coach, honey. So, yeah, so without further ado, I like to maximize every second of every minute in this hour. But first, we're going to do a moment of silence. We're going to give you 10 seconds just to go over and hit that like button, a thumbs up, hit that like button. I thank you to everyone who has subscribed to my channel. You are pushing me forward. I am so grateful, grateful, grateful. That's why when I go to Philly and DC, I'm shouting you all out, because I know that I could not do these things and have people see what it is that I'm doing and are willing to recognize this without y'all. So here is your 10 seconds to hit that like button right now. Now, I don't know if you hit that like button. So let's get on with tonight's topic: is forgiveness, reconciliation. So we ended last week. I asked you, was it a different? What is the difference, if there is a difference? Can you remind the people of your response?
So I believe my response was reconciliation is restoration of a relationship, like of access from that person. Whereas though forgiveness doesn't always mean reconciliation. It just means you are letting go of whatever hurt, pain, resentment, whatever feelings or emotional ties that came about from whatever wrongdoing someone did to you.
Wow. And so tonight is about exploring difficult conversations, and we don't normalize these kind of conversations. We kind of shy away from it. We avoid having these kind of conversations because it brings so much intensity. Why do you think that?
Um, because it hurts. We don't like to feel uncomfortable. I don't think Well, I'll speak for myself. I don't like uncomfortable conversations. It's just, it doesn't feel good. Like you have to sit in that emotion and deal with, just all the emotions that come up from it. It's easier just to walk away from it or avoid it. But to address it, it takes a lot of courage. So,
But does it always have to hurt?
mm, not necessarily. It depends on the situation.
So when was the last time you had a difficult conversation about forgiveness?
It was a few years ago with my mom, but
Do you are I'm not going to ask you, are you comfortable? Are you comfortable with being uncomfortable to talk a little bit about that?
not my mom. Another relationship, yes, not my mom.
Okay, so what makes it what's the hesitation about?
Just protection with her.
And put so somebody is listening or watching and don't understand. So I'm probing you. I know it's uncomfortable. And we don't, you just said it. We don't like it having difficult conversations on these topics because it hurts, because it brings things up. And as a personal success coach, I find myself in a position where if I am so I talk about forgiveness and reconciliation because I believe that is my ministry. I believe that out of all things that I do, the ministry of reconciliation is what's in my heart. I talk about it, I live it, I breathe it because I understand it, because I went through my own personal process of reconciliation and forgiveness, starting with me. And because I went through that process, it's kind of as difficult as it is and as intense as it can be. I face it head on because I recognize that my own personal healing is dependent upon my truth, um, without blame, shame, and guilt. And so, for those that struggle with having difficult conversations, especially around this topic, um, the real life question is why. And you answered why, and now I'm seeking an explanation for somebody who really doesn't understand, as a woman, as a personal success coach, who is aligning herself in a position to coach somebody to how to deal through life. Um, what are you able to kind of give a little insight on the protection part, for yourself?
So I had to separate, not separate. I had to take the label of my mother being my mother, and I had to kind of put myself in her shoes and see things that I went through growing up from her perspective. And from that place, I was able to give grace and understand. And that kind of helped. That was like the starting process. I'm not going to lie, because I'm still to this day working through a lot of the aftermath of things that happen. And
Right.
um, because I know my mom won't understand it from my point of view, um, I just kind of dealt with that on my own. And even now, there's certain things that I can't tell my mom, I can't do with my mom. Um, and it's still something I'm working through. So it's like, that's
So
the
in
truth.
Right. And so in real life, the difficult conversation you're having is really with yourself.
Yeah.
Really, it's with yourself. And that's the charge. That's the charge. That comes first before we can do it effectively with anyone and walk away with clarity and peace. And so, my question to everyone is, when is the last time you had a difficult conversation and walked away with clarity and peace? Because it does not always have to hurt. And it doesn't always have to hurt to the point that you are having the difficult conversation with yourself first, because that's where it really hurts at. It ain't really at the end of the day about the person. It's really about what's going on inside of here and inside of here. And so you just did it without really realizing that you did it. But that is what this is about. Recognizing that first we have to understand that there is a difference from forgiveness. Forgiveness is saying, I pardon you. It's saying, I am not counting your sins, your harm, your wrongdoing, your unpleasantry against you. I'm gonna let it go. For me personally, I cast my cares to one source, and that's God. That's saying, I forgive you no matter you wrong or right. I forgive you. Why? Because I remember. See, everything relates. That's why we're not here to entertain. This is not a show. We are healing out loud, on purpose and with purpose. For one, we got to understand that leaders go through weather the storm too. But how do you weather the storm is what sets you apart. There was a time in my life I would have different therapists, and I would not feel like that is working because I feel like I'm the therapist to the therapist. I'm like, I ain't here for that. I'm here to get fixed. I'm here to get the help. And when you have gone through that, you learn how to master the art of self healing. Not necessarily that you're doing it yourself. You figure that thing out because you recognize that no one is coming to save you. We can read all the books. We can read we can indulge in so many groups and do that. But if it ain't in here, what are we doing it for? And so my next question to you is reconciliation. When was the last time you even found yourself thinking about the importance of reconciliation?
I'm not sure because the relationships that I'm thinking about, I didn't need to reconcile with them. It wasn't a need for reconciliation.
So don't travel to relationships, travel inward. So let me give you an example, real life example. A couple days ago, I found myself in a little funk. I couldn't put my finger on what was going on with me. And because I'm the type of person that like to understand what is going on with me, it kind of made it just I couldn't shake it. I self-pitied. I did all that. It didn't last long, but I went through that. And then when I realized I was going through that, I kind of beat myself up about it. I beat myself up and I'm like, you know better. You know better to allow yourself to get to this place. It wasn't deep, but it was deep enough for me to get my attention. And in that moment, I recognized first I need to take a step back from myself. Be quiet. Sit down for a minute. I had to forgive myself in that moment. See, this ain't a one-time thing for me. I had to forgive myself in that moment because I was beating myself up, punishing myself mentally, because I felt myself just in a matter of seconds in a low place, and I was fighting with myself, trying to figure out what was going on and beating myself up because I didn't have a clue. Then once I went through that, give yourself grace. See, I talks to myself. You call me crazy or whatever, but I talks out loud so that I can hear, so that my heart and my spirit can receive it. That's just me in my process. How do you know when you should reconcile with a person, especially if they do not express concern, consideration for your feelings? Who said that you have to reconcile with someone who shows no expressions of concern or consideration for your feelings? That's why we're talking about this thing tonight. See, I forgive you. See, I forgive you for minimizing what I think, feel, and believe. See, I forgive you for allowing you to believe that it was okay to mistreat me. I forgive you. But however, you don't have the right to be in my space. But I forgive you. If you're hungry, I will feed you. I probably won't be the first one right away because I'm still dealing with some emotional immaturity. I probably won't be the first one. I'm stubborn. But when it all boils down at the end of the day, I'll feed you. You shirtless. I'm not that selfish of a person or that I will clothe you. However, you will not get a seat at my table. We will not be eating together. We will not be laughing together. We will not be exchanging intimate details with one another. Why? Because you have disqualified yourself from my space. It's not that I am being arrogant. It is I am self-aware enough to know whose I am and who I am. And I have to protect my anointing. I don't mean to go there. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I'm so not sorry in my Kevin Gates voice. But I am telling you, it is a difference. And we find ourselves so stagnated because we think if I say I forgive you, that gives you the invitation to become a participant back in my life. You disqualified yourself for a reason. But if the relationship is important enough to you and your heart, only you know that, then reconciliation is in order. But only you, the individual, only knows who's good for you and who's unhealthy for you. But you got to answer that as an individual. I can share my stories all day long. But at the end of the day, what works for me works for me. And I only know that it works for me because I was brave enough and bold enough to step out on faith and implement some tools in my life. And that's how I found out it worked. But we don't know if it will work if we don't step out there and just do it. So the first thing we have to do is take a step back and have a conversation with ourselves. We giving permission to other people. We are giving other people the power to make the decision if what we should do in our lives. And that's not how that's supposed to go. I know we've been taught that, but guess what? We've been taught wrong. You know what's in your best interest and what's not. We give our power away. We allow other people to make decisions on what we think, feel, and believe. And we can no longer do that. That's why we're having this difficult conversation tonight. Is forgiveness reconciliation? And me and Sade said, is a difference, right? I know that it's a difference because of how it shows up in my life. How do you know that it's a difference in your life?
Boundaries. That's all I can think of. It's like I had to know one. I had to go back to the drawing board. That was recently, maybe like right before the new year started. And I was like, okay, I need to have a certain standard in my relationships, period. Not just dating relationships, like family relationships, friends, everybody. Like, what is the standard? How do I want to be treated? And being able to say, okay, who in my life is not living up to that standard, and having a conversation from there, and then deciding like, okay, is this person willing to work on those things? Are they willing to take accountability for how they show up in my life? Like, I had to assess all of that. And then from there, I can decide, like, do I want to reconcile with this person, or do I want to just keep it moving?
What yeah, we just have to constantly check in on ourselves. Yes, that is important, and this is why this conversation is so important, because many of us are leaders. Hey April, hey. Oh, I needed that info. Thanks for the insight. You're welcome. Thank you for the question. And yes, in the chat, we are asking for your questions. What questions do you have, or what is it? Why do you think, in the chat, why do you think that it's so difficult to have these conversations out loud? I want to know that from you all in the chat. So I have another question. Of course I do. Of course I do. Of course I do, Sade. So I'm gonna slow down because I was so excited at the beginning, like doing all the infos, and then because I wanted the conversation to come on. But what people don't know, because I did not share, is that Sade wrote the foreword in It Takes One to Know One. This is why this conversation on this evening is important to me, because everything that I do has purpose. And sometimes I don't even know what is going on. I just trust the process. I trust it so much that if given the opportunity, is there anything that is unforgivable? Only you can answer that in the space that you are in. I'm saying, let me help. Hold up. She is pulling. Hold up. So this is what I said as a personal success coach, and how you can't. So not even as a person, as the pusher, how I cannot expect anyone to answer difficult conversations, um, or take the step to heal out loud if I'm not willing to do it. So let me share just for a second, because I'm willing to, and she's pulling on me. We're talking about forgiveness and reconciliation. I have served 22 years in prison. And I've oftentimes I speak about it. It's a part, it has become a part of my journey, speaking about my incarceration. 22 years, and I've been through some stuff even in prison. I came to the realization that was forgiveness was necessary for me, because I found myself in a dark place, and it didn't look like I was going to come out of it. Until one day, I just kneeled down and began to cry. I began to yell. And there was a woman standing over top of me, and she said, call out every name that you feel like has hurt you, betrayed you, who has did anything that you feel like is unforgivable. And in that moment, I did just that, uncontrollably, crying and yelling. And that lady just held me tight as I yelled each name that came out my mouth. I can't even tell you if I was just thinking. The names just came out. And I realized in that, coming out of that moment, that it wasn't for those people. because those people, except for one, wasn't around. It was just me and that lady and God and the spectators that was looking around. But those names that I yelled out, they wasn't there. So that moment right there let me know that forgiveness was for me. Because once I did that, the next step was I began to go back in my memory bank. I've hurt some people, I've caused some people pain. And so my process and my journey of forgiveness began from that moment. Now, fast forward today. Is it easy for me to forgive and let go? Yes, it is, because I've been working at it. I've been working at it. Is it a struggle? Heck yeah. Because I don't always want to forgive. I don't always want to forgive. And I got to be honest about that. But do I forgive? Yes, I do. Why? Because I understand the process. And I never want to go back to that moment ever again. And so every now and then when I begin to be stubborn, when I don't want to forgive, when I don't want to let go, that it's in the war, the struggle is in here. It is in our mind. It ain't out there. It ain't the people. It's in here. Because all you have to do is just change your perspective, change your mind of how you see a thing or how you perceive a person. That's all you have to do. And some of us do operate in fear. And fear is what cripples us and what prevents us from taking the necessary steps internally. Once you begin to do the work on you, everything else will fall in place. You got a village. All of us do. I take vulnerability and we fear what people will think, feel, and believe. That is the distraction. And I'm so sarcastic sometimes, even in my conversations. But I've learned to take some accountability. Even if I did not do anything to the person who harmed me, I still got to take some accountability. I don't want to hold you hostage because I don't want Sade to hold me hostage if I say something that upsets her. We cool, we friends, we have a relationship, but I know there's some things that irritate you about me because they irritate me every now and then. And so because I'm self-aware and I've recognized that the people in my life, I know that there are things that they like, chill, get yourself together. I know this because I am aware. I tell myself these things when I'm being stubborn. You need people who are willing to hold you accountable. You cannot stay stuck in that. And you saying stuck in that, but you expecting something great to come out of it. You are expecting to heal, but you gotta do the work. This is why I'm pushing Sade. I'm pushing her. She doesn't like it. This is not her thing. She's not. Trust me, people. She is not here and happy about it. This is not her thing. But guess what she's demonstrating? 2 times. Courage. That's what she's demonstrating. Even in her, I know it takes her a minute. She got to process the question and all that. I know. That's my friend. She got to think. I don't expect her to answer a question right away. You probably are because you want to know the answer. But I know her. And guess what? I am at a place where we had to have a difficult remember? We had to have a difficult conversation. Walking to the store, remember? You remember that? Do you mind me sharing that? I ain't asking for permission. I'm just saying. Do you mind me?
Ask me.
No, I really want you to share it.
No, you can share it.
I really want you to share it.
I would love for you to share it, Carlita.
Okay. So listen, one day, this is at the beginning stages of our relationship. Listen, we're going somewhere. I don't know what's happening, but I need you to really get this and understand this. We tripping and laughing. That's what life is about. But I really want somebody to get this. This young lady, Miss Sade, the personal success coach. How did the difficult conversation to the store make you feel? Like, so you answer that. How did it? Do you want me to? Do
Okay,
you
well,
want me to
first my
say?
eyes burning, so go ahead. I'm gonna get my eye together and then I'm gonna answer. You're so person. Okay,
I
whatever.
love it. I
Okay.
know. I love it. I love it. I love it. Do you want me to share
Okay,
the
I'll go ahead.
I'm gonna share
So
this. Okay.
I can share it. Anywho, so basically, Carlita and we were supposed to go out one weekend. Um, the plans didn't go through, but she didn't communicate. And I felt some type of way about that. I feel like if I set a time and a day and I get my hopes up to go and do something and somebody doesn't show up and on top of that does not communicate, like to me, that means that you don't value my time. And so I expressed that to her. And
No, no,
her
no, no.
response,
Slow down. Slow down. You go too fast. Did you immediately have a conversation with me? Did you have to go through a mental gymnastics before you had a conversation with me? Think about it.
not necessarily because we didn't. I said I was gonna call. I was gonna talk to you when we got to work. This happened over the weekend, so Tuesday. I think we had the conversation Tuesday.
All right. Okay. You can finish.
So that day, maybe an hour before the conversation, yes. But I just was like, I'm gonna express myself and tell you how I felt. And in that moment, you were like, just expressing to me how you are, how you forgot what was going on at the time. Um, you said that I would have to kind of reach back out to you and remind you because things will slip your mind. And I realized in that moment, I may have taken that personal when I didn't have to, but I also was proud of myself for just expressing to you how I felt because that's not something that I did before. Like I would just feel like, oh, if I express myself, they're gonna think I'm overthinking or I'm being too sensitive or it's not that serious. But it was that serious to me. So
Did we argue?
no,
Did we fuss, cuss each other out?
no.
You talked. I listened. I talked. You listened. And then what else? What happened after that?
We went, got our snacks, we went back in the store. I mean, we went back into the office and went about our day.
Right. That's my whole point. It was not easy for you to have a difficult conversation with me. But then when you got the courage to to express how you felt and what you thought, it did not play out like you thought in your mind. You didn't leave the conversation feeling misunderstood. You didn't leave the conversation more frustrated or more upset than what you were. It actually made our relationship much more stronger. Why? Because we set boundaries in that conversation. I asked you to forgive me. You accepted it right away with no problem. I'm saying it doesn't always have to hurt. You just made my point. You can have a difficult conversation as uncomfortable as it is, and it doesn't have to hurt. We oftentimes take our own power for granted. We oftentimes take our own voice for granted, and the reason why this came up is because I want people to know that although we caca, we kiki, some every now and then we gotta take a step back and say, hold up, you're doing too much. Or hold up, you hurt my feelings. Or hold up, I ain't like that. and we can talk about it and move forward respectfully. And now what happens? We text, we call, we show up. We don't miss dates. Lord Jesus. I also think Sade get a different perspective. And you shared that the different perspective, because at first you in your mind you thinking people like, oh, she overthinking it, she so sensitive and all that, and you realize that somebody do value your feelings. Someone does value what you think, and it wasn't about right or wrong. It was not about who was right and who was wrong. It was, this is what you did and this is how it affected me, and I had to take that. I had to own that without making excuses. It's called accountability. And if we are at a place where we can be true to ourselves and push ourselves to first have Sade definitely had the conversation with herself first. She definitely had to have a conversation with herself, as I often, all the time, have to have conversations with myself. But we get it done. We get it done nonetheless. And people need to see that authentic relationships exist. And yes, it was not intentional at all and not personal. We understand each other's love language today, right? It was because of that moment, it opened us up to begin to pay attention. So now we know what time of the month is the bad month to ask. Is you going such and such place? I'm saying in real life, because we want to begin to build healthy relationships so that we can begin to normalize what we call today difficult conversations. We want to flip that thing and make these kind of conversations normal. Why? Because it's important. It's important. It is important. We're not living in individual bubbles. And so we will hope that the people that we encounter in life, when they see that someone understands, that someone is willing to listen. Mm-hmm. And not jump at them. Huh?
Can I just butt in real
Yeah,
quick?
go ahead.
So it made me think of just having healthy relationships is new for me, so even in that interaction, it's like hard for you to stay in that space. Like if I wanted to take something personal, like it forces me to look at myself too, like, okay, girl, like, there's ways that you can hold yourself accountable too. And like, V said, the different perspective as well. Like it's different when you've been used to relationships where that other person wasn't mature enough to have a conversation too. It's like hard. But now, like having these relationships in my like today has helped me grow and being more comfortable sharing what I feel, so I just appreciated it. Like I appreciated having that experience, because it kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like it brings up anxiety, when you have to, I don't like conflicts, you know what I mean? So if I'm having to have a disagreement with somebody, the first thing I'm thinking, oh, conflict, but now it's like, I don't have to approach the conflict, or it don't even have to be a conflict. Like I don't have to look at it that way. So it was just good for me to have that experience. So I'm like, now it even bled into other relationships too. I'm like, okay, we could just sit down and have a conversation. And then, yeah.
And that's why this topic is so important, is forgiveness, reconciliation. That's why my relationship with you was in that moment was important enough for me to hear you, not just listen to you, but hear you. And because the relationship that we were building is important to me, it was important to me to reconcile in that moment. And see, because we oftentimes think that it's a one-time thing, because we say that we, forgive, and we say that we do reconcile. We think that it happens just like that. But no, you got to do the work. to make it happen. And I'm saying my relationship with you in that moment was that much important so that we can reconcile, because you were feeling away and you had every right to. And for you too, for you to have the courage and the tenacity to bring it to me strategically. Let's walk to the store. You planned it all out, because you know, if you ask me to do something and if I can do it, I'm gonna do it. um so you strategically did it, and I knew it, and I went with it, because the relationship is important to me, and because it's important to me, and we were in the learning stages. It was still at the beginning stages. I wanted that to happen so that you can know I'm not that person or that person. I don't want to be a representation of anyone who has caused you to feel that way in your life. So I'm going to show you something different. Will you forgive me? And in that moment, we begin to reconcile our relationship and go right on our merry little way, go to the store, buy all the junk, come back in the office and chill out for and the rest is history. But I'm saying it may come again. And guess what? We have to come back and have this conversation, because we teach people how to handle us. And in order, I'm just someone who pays attention on purpose. And so a lot you don't have to say. I'm observant. I can see it and I listen. Even when you think I'm not listening. And so all my people in my village are different. No one is the same. Everybody is of one on one, of one of one. And we are at a place where we have to allow people to be who they are. And then you make your assessment based on that. There are some people that were in my life that I don't want to reconcile the relationship with. And guess what? I am at peace with that. There are some people that can't approach me like you did and said, let's walk to the store and we have a difficult conversation. There are some people that have disqualified themselves from having that kind of conversation with me. However, I will talk to you, but we're not reconciling, we're not restoring, we're not reiterating a relationship. We just not, because that's not what I want. Yeah, by all the junk and the cookies. Oh yeah, aka Big Back number 3.
Not the cookie.
Oh yeah, I can't say don't be telling no business, because we already did told it. So, what would you say to anyone who is listening that struggles with having these kind of difficult conversations when their feelings is hurt, when they feel like someone disrespected them, when they feel unheard, going through it yourself in real life? What would you say to that person that's discouraged, that feels like, no, I don't want to have a conversation, it just is what it is, or that's just how that person is? What would you say to him or her?
If it's a big deal to you, then that means you need to say it. Your voice matters, how you feel matters, and have the conversation. Even if it's difficult, it's not for the other person, it's really for you. And from there, you will see if that person really cares about you based on how they approach the conversation. You can see a lot about a relationship based on a person's response. And so that can give you insight on whether this is a relationship that needs work, or whether you need to reconcile, you don't need to reconcile, but you kind of rob yourself of that opportunity if you don't speak. And like, your feelings matter. You deserve to voice your opinions on how you feel.
Well, Miss Sade Smith, I think you are amazing. I think that I believe that you are a woman who is growing, who has demonstrated a level of courage that inspires and that provokes others to get on board. I believe that you have what it takes to speak to nations. Um, and I believe that as long as we consistently do this self work on ourselves as we are pushing other people, because it got to go inward, then come outward. Um, as long as we continue to push each other and as a whole, this community that we have that's so special, that you continue to tap in, I believe the sky's the limit. And as I said last week, whatever God has, and so our forgiveness and acceptance are one and the same. Yes, ma'am, you have to accept. This is Michelle's, so now it's pivot. This is one of Michelle's favorite hashtag lines. It is what it is. Oh, look, she's saying it. Be our acceptance, like saying it is what it is, and forgiveness is, since it is what it is, I'm going to let it go. And from the words from yours truly, Shanae said, get comfortable with being uncomfortable sometimes. Yes, yes. Oh my goodness. Here who this lady gonna put I'm gonna tell my niece, she gonna put a grocery cart in a cookie. BR said, thanks, Michelle. Super helpful. Yes. BR, you are on to something, and I want you to continue to tap in. You encourages me. I'm trying to tell you, and you pushes me. So I definitely appreciate you always showing up with questions, and I can tell that you are sincere. Kawana Prince says, thank you, ladies, for the conversation. Chat room, don't forget to like and subscribe. Yes, do not forget to like, yes, and subscribe. Do not forget. I appreciate the 6 people who subscribed last week. I'm keeping track so I can give you a shout out. I will begin to, every now and then, I will do a roll call, and I will shout you out. I love you. I'm Sade. Look at you, grown woman. Yes, yes, yes. We love ourselves some Sade. So yes, I appreciate y'all as always. We are doing some big, amazing things that is blowing my mind. Do not forget March the 8th comedy show. We will be celebrating Lady Michelle, the visionary and the leader of the Ladies League of Baltimore. Come out. You will have a great, great time. Tickets are on sale, $25. Do not forget, yours truly will be in Philly. Accepting the Phenomenal Woman Award on behalf of the village, the Pus'Her community. And I will be heading to DC. Shout out to Pivot Workforce Development. Do not forget, if you know some woman out there who has been impacted by the criminal justice system, please send them my way, or send them to pivotprogram.org, and they can apply online, the application, and someone will reach out to them. Do not be selfish. Share the information. And if you are someone who just need a little encouragement, you need a little push, just continue to tap in every Wednesday at 6:30. The village is always here, and we are expanding. Each show we getting more people. This was so helpful. Can we get a session on acceptance next, and standards or boundaries? So what I am going to do for you, BR, because next week will be the butterfly effect. And what I will do is I will incorporate questions as it relates to that, because if you know the process of a butterfly, it's perfect. So we will touch on that next week. And I will not tell y'all who I have coming, but I'm telling you, it is a dynamic woman. Just strap on, hold on. I am telling you, we are going somewhere. And I have an announcement, but I will not announce it until next week. So you gotta come back so that you can know what the big announcement is. I'm telling you, you will be surprised. And shout outs to Michelle Fitzgerald, our first winner of the People Pusher show, our second winner of the People Pusher show. She won the challenge, the Healing 1 Million People challenge. She was the first person that night, and I said that I will buy her a free ticket to the first event that I go to, big event that I go to, and hence Black Girl Rock in Philly. I will purchase, Pusha will purchase Michelle Fitzgerald a ticket. I have to be a woman of my word. Can we give it up for the Pusher? This convo was needed and beautiful for us all. Healing out loud. Yes, Lady Michelle. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. High Def Tone. Remember, you can check his music out on IG. And Sade for her openness and vulnerability
Love you
tonight.
too,
Love
Michelle.
you. Appreciate you all. Looking forward to the butterfly effect. Thanks, lady Sade and Miss Pusher. I thank you all as always for showing up. I will remind you of and keep you updated. I want you to go to pusherlife.org. You may find your picture on my website. You could be famous. So go on pusherlife.org and check out what it is that we are doing. We're growing, we are expanding. And yeah, we out here. So I'm asking that you all tap in. Go ahead and like. Go ahead. What side is it on? This side, if you on your phone, is right here. That like button. It looks like that. Hit that button. Like, and share. Like and share. Do not hold do not gatekeep the information. Don't gatekeep it. Share it. This is why we are doing what we're doing. Share the information, get it out there. We're gonna make sure we gather it so that you can share it. Share the information because we want the word to get out there so that this thing can expand and so that more people can come and begin to do the work. So until next time, we started on time, so I want to end on time. Do you want to say anything before you go, Miss Sade?
Thank you for having me. I just appreciate this platform and like what you're doing is amazing. So keep it up. It's really been inspiring for all of us. And I'm just
I,
proud of you.
I appreciate you taking the invitation, as difficult as you can be. As difficult as it was, I appreciate you taking the challenge, and you did that. You did that. You gave hope, you gave light because you gave your truth, and you came from here. And so I definitely appreciate. I know that I get on your nerves because I am pushy. I know that I am, but look what comes out of it. And that's the beauty of it. Remember, a couple days ago, somebody remind us that God is a fruit inspector. And so I want God to examine me by the fruit that I bear. And so if what I'm doing isn't causing an effect in a positive way, then I need to go back to the throne. I need to throw myself back to the altar and get it right. And so that is my intent. And I pray that everyone on tonight and who will be watching this later, that you really, really take this thing serious. This is not a show for entertainment. This is a healing out loud. Women, men, we are tired of being tired, and we want to be better and we want to do better. And as we are growing and as we are sharing of ourselves, the things that we once felt blame, shame, and guilt about, the things that we wanted to keep secret like everybody else, we want to share that it doesn't always have to hurt. It doesn't always have to be so hard. You have to make the decision. And so together as a community, let's bring somebody new so we can get them to subscribe. Get me to 1,000. I need y'all to push me to 1,000. 1,000. That is the goal to get me where I want to be initially. And then I ain't putting no cap on it. It just is what it is. But you have to get me to 1,000 so we can push through the algorithm. I need you to like and share the videos because it pushes the information through the algorithm. Or when we turn on YouTube, we are seeing negativity. We want to be a part of the solution and not the problem. Somebody got to do it. Why not us? So stay tuned. Pivot Workforce Development is coming up with some dynamic stuff. Stay tuned. The Ladies League of Baltimore and Pusher. And remember, if you want to book Sade, she is a life coach. go find her on It's Sade. That is her IG page. We will work up something so that she can begin to really, really engage on her page and post herself talking. She will be doing that. That is her challenge from this show. And the next time you see her, she will be able to tell you what she has been up to new. So I definitely will be pushing her to do this work the way that she wants to do it. So Shanae, we miss you. We miss you in the chat. We want to see you. Anthony said, how much do she cost? We will do that offline. We will definitely do that offline. We had 10 people in the chat, but now I'm like, stop playing. Yes, stop playing. Come on, the village is coming through. High def, I counted too. LOL, never mind. Recheck. LOL, like it's tripping. Here, I love it here. I love it here. We got receipts. LOL, clearly. Okay, the likes are liking. Okay. Yes, April. Thank you for the reminder. As always, it is your girl Pus'Her. If you're not pushing forward, you're moving backwards. Come on, Sade. Say that thing out loud. Forward ever,
backwards never.
Yes, we ain't going backwards. The only time we going backwards is for a frame of reference or to remember. Other than that, we are pushing forward. It is your girl Pus'Her. Until next time, see you Wednesday at 6:30. Peace.
I came home and I came to the T.R.I.V.I. house. Best thing I ever did. They supplied me the resources to accomplish my dreams. At the same token, allowed me and encouraging me to stay focused on the hill from which cometh my help. After 90 days of being on house arrest, I finally got out and I got a job. I didn't have a pair of shoes to go and perform my job, as boots was required for one of the things. And guess what? Somebody from the T.R.I.V.I. house came and bought me a pair of boots. When that happened, people say that's the smallest things, but guess what? That was a big deal for me, you know? And Sister Tracy came and I told her about that. She went to the store and bought me a pair of boots. I wore the soles out them boots.